What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're back with the Mk6 R. We are now home, back in the garage. As you saw in the last video, it was filmed picking up this car from Melbourne. It's been a great little venture and all the rest of it. So we have here some little basic maintenance to do, and I'll go through this in just a second. So generally when I buy a car, I go through and do all the little stuff before we go ahead and drive it, enjoy it, and all the rest of it. So I did the oil the other day already. Pretty basic tasks. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how that's done and all the rest of it. I just thought I'd skip that bit. It's really messy and you have to jack up the car and all the rest of it. This bit is pretty easy. We can do it right in the engine bay right here, and it's all pretty, easy access. So I'll start off. Our first little item is a PCB. So this is what controls the breathing of the motor. This is an updated version that Volkswagen brought out compared to the old one that's already on the car, which commonly fails. So we'll replace that, and we have a new O-ring as well, or gasket, to go on there so that it seals nicely. Along with going with some spark plugs. These are Brexit or Mk7.5 spark plugs by NGK. These are iridium. They're a tighter gap than the factory plugs in the car. And this will just give us better spark and better running of the car, make it also better for when we go ahead and tune it. So it'll mean that the spark won't blow out while we're running the car. I'll just move these out of the way. So our next one is the dipstick. Commonly known on the Golf is the points will snap off the end. It's a bit hard to show, but I'll show you when we go to put it in. They'll snap off, or you'll lose the O-ring, so it won't actually seal. And these are a vacuum motor. So if you lose seal, you're also losing power. So good to replace these ones. This one isn't in too bad of a shape, but I still recommend replacing it. It's easy, it's 40 bucks, you might as well do it while you're there. And then our last item on the list is a cabin filter. This one is brand new, VW genuine. You can go with like a different quality one, maybe one from Supercheap, Repco, or wherever you are in the world. But I went OEM this time, it wasn't much more expensive. And I was already getting all these parts from VAG Parts online, and it all comes really fast, so might as well go that way there. We have another little part to go on for the hybrid fuel pump, but that'll be done in another video. It's a bit more time consuming, and it needs to go a bit more in depth as to how you do it, how you pull it apart, and all the rest of it. So let's get into this little stuff. I'll bring you a bit closer. You can have a look at the engine bay. I'll show you what I'm doing, and we'll get into it. Thanks, guys. Alright, guys, I'm just going to settle these parts aside, down on the floor here. And we're going to get started. So our first maintenance, I'd like to call it, is we're going to do the dipstick. This one's quick and simple. Obviously pull the old one out. This one's not in too bad a shape, like I said, but it is bent. I don't know if you can see that, so it's not really that straight anymore. So this is no good, and obviously it's really discoloured down the bottom and hard to see. It's going a bit brittle, so let's get rid of that before it breaks. And I'm just going to leave that out of the way. We don't need that anymore. This one's nice and clean and ready to go. So we're just going to plug her straight in, and easy done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you closer this time. We're going to replace the PCB now, and let's jump into it. Alright, as you can see here, this is the PCB system. This is what we're going to be replacing, just this piece. These hoses can stay, they're all still in fairly good condition, and I don't think we need to replace them. So it's pretty simple. There's one here and one here, there's two hoses. They both have to be disconnected. If you just push down on both top and bottom, it'll squeeze the connector, and that should just slide off like so. Turn it out the way, do the same for the other side. Push on the top and bottom and pull backwards. This one's probably a bit more difficult than the other one. Just get both hands in there and off she comes. So pretty simple, easy, and then make sure you plug these back in after, because otherwise you'll have some issues with the motor and it will have issues starting. So that's good, that's down there. And we can see some oil already coming out of here, which is not what we want. It's full of decay and all the rest of it. So let me grab some hand tools and let's pull this off, right? Alright, so you guys are going to need a set of torques, which is what these are, plus a little wrench. I wouldn't recommend using power tools on this. It's quite a delicate piece of part of the motor, so get yourself a little Torx bit, and this one will be, I'll just tell you off the top of my head, so this one's a T25 is what you need, and that's going to do your job to pull this up. So just a small shifter and an extension is probably going to be what you need. If you really want to, you could probably use just a hand tool, and then with the piece on the front of it. So I'm going to undo this one, make sure not to lose the nuts. So just leave them lightly in there to start with, and we'll unscrew them by hand after. I'll grab this one out because it's in a bit of a difficult position. As you can see, they're just a small screw of the washer on the end. Make sure to give them in a good spot. So I'll pop them on the floor here next to the tool chest so we don't lose it. Got another one up the top here. At the same time. So got that off the car, pretty easy. As you can see, there's the old gasket as well. So I'll just quickly show you guys. I'm just come behind the camera here, make sure I can see what I'm doing. Alright. Just try to get to focus. Come on. There you go. So, as you can see, one up the top here. Come on. It's a bit difficult, but there's one up the top, one in the middle, one there, and then one on the very edge. So that's your PCV system, pretty easy. All came off in one piece. I'll just grab the camera off the tripod just to show you, but got a bit of shadow there. So as you can see, it is quite yucky in there. I would recommend a clean of the valves or gasket, as in like the valve cover as such. I don't have really the facility to do it here at the moment, but maybe in the future. So we're just going to pull this one out. There should be a tab on this side of the motor. There's a tab down the bottom just to pull on, to pull it out. We'll just get rid of that out of the way. Give her a quick yank. This one's quite in there. Let's see if we can grab it from another spot. Yep. Try again. There you go. So it's on the bottom of the gasket. I'll show you when we get it out. So this one's quite crusty. It's covered in oil and gross shit, but right there, as you can see, little pull tab which is on the bottom of the motor. So grab that, pull her out, and off she goes. Yeet that on the floor. We can get our new one now, which is on the floor. So the gasket goes in the way it came out. Just throw her straight back in. Bam, bam, bam. Let's throw our next one in. And line up the hole with where the gasket's got to go. Sweet. So we've got a brand new gasket in there. We're going to throw our new PCV on. This guy right here. So the one that was difficult proven before down the bottom, we're going to put a screw back in that first, and we're going to use that to guide it onto the car. So obviously this is the most difficult hole. I'd rather use this one and obviously not lose the screw, because otherwise you will, it'll fall on the floor. It's going to be a bit of fun getting this hose out of the way while we try to put it in. Cool. Alright, so that's in there. We'll just turn it back the other way. Alright, that's all done. All the screws are now back in, all 4 of them. Don't do it too tight, obviously it is plastic, so just make sure it's snug. So we're going to plug back into the breather hoses, so plug that one back in, it'll make a nice audible click. Turn that one back around, pull that around, and then plug him back in, and you're done. So PCV is all sorted. Our next off the list is spark plugs. So we're going to undo our coil packs in the back here. I'll just bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. So in the back here we've got clips all along the back of the coil packs there. So we're going to undo all 4 of them and pull straight up on the coil pack, and that'll come out the motor. So let's just pop you guys back down, and I'll see if I can reach you guys in a bit further. Maybe over this side. Okay, that's better. So let's get a bit of focus going. Cool. So I will unplug all these coils. It'll be easier if you start this one. Unplug that one, pull out, unplug the next one, give it a yank, and they'll start like, you'll hear like a suction noise as they like let go. Just be gentle with the clips, you don't want to break them. There you go, there's the next one. And you pretty much should just be able to do this by hand, as you can see. And then they just slide off. And then that's your rail there, just slid backwards. So just push it down below the intake, and that'll be sorted there. So coil packs all along here, I just grab them by the back of it, and then just lift straight up. Now, fairly well suctioned in there. It's easier if you start at this end. There you go, you can hear it go. and then it comes out. So I recommend keeping these in the same order they came out. These are slightly upgraded ones from, look like an R8 coil pack is what they call them because they're red. But I mean, they're pretty similar to the stock ones. I mean, I guess they just got a better spark from what people say. I will be upgrading these in the near future. Next one. Best to grab your hands on the side and underneath, and then just pull straight up. Some of these are quite tight, so make sure you've got a bit of elbow grease on it. Just going to come from the other side for this one. Yeah, so all four are out. I have lightly placed them on the floor in order. So. As you can see down here, we've got our spark plugs, coil packs, and then all of our holes are now empty. No coil packs there, and they're all unplugged. So I'll pop you back down and let us grab our spark plugs, which are here. Mk6 spark plugs. I'll pop them up there for the second. And what we're going to do is 1 to 4, which I'll just grab our spark plug tool. Alright, cool. So, have our shifter plus our spark plug extension. Alright, wrong side spark plug extension. Now for the small one. Alrighty, straight down into the hole. Alright, we're on the spark plug now. Just undo it. Alright, that's doing it right. It is quite tight, so just make sure you aren't doing it like I was not doing before. And these don't need any crazy tension on them when you do them back up. I mean, there is a factory torque spec, but normally when I do them, I just do them to tight, and then that should do enough for the crush washer, and then you should just be able to pull it straight out. I'm going to get all these four out. I'll show you what they look like as the old ones, and then I'll show you the new ones. So, first one's out. I'll come back to you guys in a sec. Alright, just bringing you guys into the light here. I'll just turn down the exposure just a little bit. So you can see all of our plugs here. So just spin them back around. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. They've all pretty had a good life, probably seen their day. I'm not sure what brand it is. It seems a bit strange, but they definitely don't look like NGKs or any sort of premium brand that I know. But I definitely think they were ready to be replaced, as you can see. So we have our fresh box, which I'll just show you over here, is what they probably should look like. Just grab these bad boys and bring them back over where we were before. So we've got 4, obviously. Just grab one out of here. Bit hard holding the camera. Cool. Alright, so as you can see, similar style plug, same height, but just look nice and new, good for the motor, and it's high quality as well, so we should have better spark, better everything, and all the rest of it. So let's go ahead and bang these in. Alright, we've got our torque wrench here. The torque spec for these is 25 Newton meters, so I've just dialed that up onto our torque wrench, so we're going to throw that back on here. And we're just going to tighten these until we hit 25, which is not a lot. It's just enough to crush the washer, which is all you want. As you can hear that. So that's our click. Sweet. So that means we're tight now, we can pull her out. And the plug is ready to go. I'm going to do that through to piston number 1 and we'll be done, and I'll come back to you once it's all good. Alright, 1 to 4 are now done. Probably can't really see down the hole there, but they're all in there. So our next step, we're going to throw these bad boys back in the car. So I'll grab one and just show you nice and close up. So the hole sits right there. and you just throw it straight down, and then make sure it's lined up straight, and just give it a real good push, and you'll feel it seat right down in there. You can't push it any further, and it will not wiggle. So push that down. We're going to go 1 to 4, and once they're all done, we're going to connect it back up all the connectors, and it's all 1, 2, 3, 4, all nicely pushed down. We're going to grab our harness again, throw them back low, and then back into your connectors. So line them all up, and then just give them one good push all along here, and they'll click back in. All right, they're all connected, that's all done. And guess what? You've just changed your spark plugs, PCV's done. Next step, which is the last step for our install today, is inside the cabin. So let's jump in there, grab the cabin filter out, and we will get finished. Alright, as you can see, we're in the interior now. I've got my torch light out just so you guys can see what's going on. We have our new cabin filter here, nice and fresh, replacement. Underneath this panel here is where it sits. So there is 2 little unscrew tabs, which I'll just undo now and I'll show you what they look like. So I'm just ungrab them. So they look like that. They're nice and small. Let me grab the camera and I will show you the other one. So jump underneath here. As you can see, there's, oh, it's nice and bright, isn't it? So there's the second one sitting right there. Just gonna place that down. And while I got the camera, I'll just show you untwist it. Give it a good twist. Good to go. Alright, so best way to get this down is to grab from the side over here, put your finger in the back, just give it a good yank. There she comes. That can just sit on the floor there for a second. We'll grab our light back so you guys can see what's going on. Alrighty, cool. So up in here, as you can see, there's like that little slider sort of thing. This is where our cabin filter sits, just here. So we're gonna grab down when she wants to come in. Slide it off, as you can see, just unslit it, pull this one down. And out she comes. So a little bit of crud come with that one. So as you can see, I don't know if you can really see it in there, but come on. She's got a bunch of debris, dirty shit, and it's all black. So, and this is not a genuine one. This is, I don't know what brand. I mean, it does the job obviously, but we want a nice clean one. Fresh one's in the car. Let's grab that. It back up in, as you can see. So last step, grab your bar that's going to look after it and hold it in there. Pop it back into the holes, as you can see. Clips in there, and then you just push it in and then slide it across, clicks in. That's you done. Pop your little piece of felt back up, which I'm going to do off camera, and then your cabin filter's changed and your aircon is going to smell good again. Alright guys, just to finish off the video, we can now see that that is all back together, and the cabin filter is back in. We're just going to shut the door and we'll walk our way over to our pile of parts. So this is what we removed off the car. So these are all the old stuff. So you can see probably there's better light. Look how dirty that is. This is what it used to look like, clean and white, and that's from all the shit and dirt that you get up into your cabin filter. So I recommend really changing these. It's a must do for me on my list. We can now see the old dipstick. I mean, probably couldn't see that now, it's not actually straight. And the rubber gasket on there is going. We have our old PCV. It doesn't look too bad, but personally I wouldn't use it. And then our old gasket covered in rubbish from the motor. But yeah, definitely recommend replacing that. That's an old version. The replacement version is what I have, the refresh. And then we have our 4 plugs. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders. It doesn't look too bad, but generally obviously good to replace them, and then you don't get left stranded. So that's it. The car is put back together, all done. I'll just show you. Got the new PCV system there. Coils and plugs are back in. New dipstick, and then as I showed you before, the rest of the car is all done. I'll just place you guys back on the tripod. See me as well. Back a little bit. So it is. So that will be a wrap. That's all done. Everything's changed. It didn't take me too long, probably about half an hour max. And the car is all ready to go again, so we can start back up and go for a drive. But that'll be it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and be sure to stick around. Thanks guys.